Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's session of the Screw Anxiety Challenge. We are on day 3. If you are watching this from YouTube and you've stumbled on this, then you can still get involved. You can still get involved until Saturday, the 17th of April, 2021. If you're watching this in the future, then you can still get involved up until that point in the challenges. You'll just have to register. There'll be a link below this that you can register to get involved in. And I'm just checking my microphone if I've just hurt everybody's ears. That is why. You may also hear noise today because I have electricians doing my garden office and it might get a little noisy. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Kaylee on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, you don't have to register. It's all good. If you're in my Facebook group, then you can just get involved and you can go over the last few days on YouTube and on Facebook. You can learn about anxiety, what we've been talking about, and then each day I have done a challenge for you. If you so wish to get involved in this challenge, then you can, and there are prizes to be had. Good morning, Imogen. The prizes are 2 of my necklaces. Let me see these. Obviously, 1 per person. I'm giving away 2. These necklaces are diamond shaped. They are I created them with mantra jewelry. #ad. And they come with a mantra that says diamonds are made under pressure. I love them. I have 2 necklaces with mantra. The other one says unbreakable, and the mantra is life cannot break me, for I know how strong I am. I did say if those are listening. Yeah, there's an electrician outside, so that'll be hopefully finished in a second. I'm sorry if I just busted somebody's eardrums out. Good morning, Hannah. Good morning. Katie says, loved yesterday's challenge yet again. Love the necklace. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Katie. And well done, guys, those of you that did get involved in yesterday's challenge, because I know when I ask you to take a photograph of yourself, that's actually a huge challenge, let alone then sharing bits about yourself and what you feel anxious about, and the reframe of that anxiety is probably the easiest bit of that whole challenge. So well done for those of you that got involved yesterday. That was ace. And I'm going to give it just a few minutes just to let everybody sit in and for Facebook and YouTube to do its thing. But while we do that, and hopefully the electrician will finish doing what he is doing. Oh my God. While we do that, let me know in the comments, how are you feeling? 1 to 10, 1 being rubbish, feel terrible today, 10 being I feel absolutely incredible, and everywhere in between. Let me know in the comment section. I, again, am a solid 9 today. I feel good. Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, why is this the way? Why is it always the way that things happen when you're trying to do something? And I'll tell you in a minute, actually, because they can definitely hear me through the door. Hannah says, I've loved to be pushed doing things out of my comfort zone. I love that as well. It's great. Right. I'm going to try and mute you if that happens. Hopefully that won't be happening for too long, guys. I'm just getting some work done. So I'm so sorry that it's this loud. If you are listening in headphones, this is a dreadful experience for you. And it says, pretty good today. I'm going for an 8. Love it. Kaylee's feeling a 9 today. Girls are chilled, watching Frozen 2 while I listen to the live. That's nice. Mine are in the front room, apparently eating dry cereal, which will obviously be all over the sofa. You know, this is kind of the way it's going to go, isn't it? So that's good. But when we do this as well, for those that are sitting in or those that are watching on YouTube that really aren't part of the community yet, or you've just stumbled on it somehow, I don't know how that happens or if it happens. But if you do, the reason that we do the 1 to 10 check is that it's more tangible than just saying, how are you? How are you? Because none of us really know how to answer the how are you question because it's so changeable. And it's good for us to be able to know, okay, if I find that I'm at a 2, could I move myself to a 3? And nobody is expected to go from a 2 to a 10 in one day, obviously eventually, but not in one fell swoop. It would be an unrealistic expectation to put that kind of pressure on yourself. If you are on the higher end, look at Kaylee feeling at 9 today, feeling incredible. Don't second guess it. If you are there, that's incredible. Just be there, be in it. Don't start thinking, oh, I'm going to jinx it. If I talk about being in a 9, I'm going to jinx it. That's the things we say, isn't it? Just be in it. Don't second guess it. So it's so important that we do that. And it's essentially a practice of mindfulness. I can see some movement. Is he going? I can still see the drill. If the drill's there, the noise is there, guys. But I'm going to get started anyway, and we will just persevere, okay? So if it gets noisy, I might just mute myself for a second and just look at you like, and we'll work with it. This is what we do, you know, when we're living in these lockdown restrictions and all that, although we're not really, are we now? Kind of, I don't know, what we in now? Are we in a tier? Are we not? I don't know. Okay, it's moving away at this moment, but I think it's going to still be a little noisy for a bit. So back to today's topic. Today's topic is about taking back the power. This is the last day in our 3 days of screwing anxiety. We talked at the beginning about how we can make anxiety our friend. We can recognize the benefits of anxiety. We can, and what else did we talk about in day one? I can't even remember. We talked about the benefits of anxiety, of the acceptance of its existence. We then talked yesterday about reframing it as a motivator, as a teacher, how we can reframe our individual anxiety hotspots, anxiety bingo. We can reframe our individual stuff. And those of you that did the challenge yesterday chose a specific anxiety that you experienced and you chose to reframe it. And that's really powerful for you. And Katie's hoping to push herself to a 10 after today's challenge. Love that. Love taking back the power. Absolutely. And somebody on Facebook's making a cuppa and then tell them, oh, make them a cuppa to take. Yeah, I probably should have done that, but I kind of want them to get done and dusted today. That would be amazing. Anyway, they're down at the bottom now, so let's just get cracking while they are. Okay, so what I was going to say to you as well, just because I like to share my awkward moments with you guys, people on the internet, many of whom I don't know. I've already fell over in front of the electricians today. I fell over, I stacked it. I bought some slippers yesterday, thought I was brilliant in them, right? Wearing my little slippers, feeling dead comfy at that. And slipped on my kitchen floor, fell right over on the floor. Like, you all right? I'm like, there's no good way of coming back from a fall, is there? When you haven't actually hurt yourself or anything, it's just a bit like, oh, just fell over. Just a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, I'm just sharing that with you. Anyway, let's move on to taking back the I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. That's the worst thing. I mean, if I broke a leg, it'd been worse, wouldn't it? So today we're talking back the power and talking about taking back the power. And there are certain things that are scientifically proven to increase or decrease your anxiety. There are lots and lots of studies on this. And of course, I am a nerd and do look at these studies. In fact, as I'm writing my book right now, I've been delving into all kinds of different studies when it comes to our mental health. And it's been really interesting being able to see the science that backs the anecdotal evidence that perhaps I talk about, or you guys, or we know just as people. And it's been nice to see that. Now, some of these things you're going to not want to hear, because we often love things that are bad for us, right? And this morning I was looking at this list and going, I'm not doing amazing on this list, okay? I'm not doing amazing. So, number one, alcohol. I actually don't really drink that much. That's not my big one. Alcohol. So we like it. Not saying you can't have alcohol ever, but alcohol will create anxiety for many of you. Not always, not everybody, but it is a depressant. It will heighten the emotions that you're feeling. If you're already feeling anxious, it might seem like a quick fix to have a drink and settle the nerves. We get kind of taught that a little bit, don't we? You know, have a whiskey, settle the nerves. But it is proven that it will actually, in the longer term, when we drink, it increases our levels of anxiety. Caffeine. Hey, girl. Caffeine. I'm on a coffee right now. Caffeine and having too much caffeine increases our feelings of anxiety. Lack of sleep. Again, ticking that box. And I know some of you have young children or children that don't sleep very well. And so you are, good morning, Jenna. No worries. It's all good. We're just getting started. I'm listing off the things that are proven to increase our anxiety, things outside of us, things that we can control. Some of the sleep thing we might not always be able to control if you have children, young children that do. Mary's just doing tick, tick, tick. This is like anxiety. We were talking about yesterday, the anxiety bingo. This is part of anxiety bingo, I think, isn't it? If you tick these boxes. So yeah, lack of sleep, is a huge factor. We know this. I mean, we do know this logically. Not eating enough or not eating the best kinds of foods. So, you know, I'm certainly not a person that likes to say good and bad food. Not really, because I think everything should be in balance. I think we have talking about that kind of stuff is a whole different beast. But we know that there's foods that are kind of nothing foods that aren't particularly healthy for our body, that our body doesn't need. You know, if I have a KFC, I'm not getting nutritional value from that. I might get calories in my stomach and stay alive, but my body isn't thanking me for the KFC, right? So it's more, are you eating nutritious food? Are you getting, you know, enough fruit, veg, pulses, all of the stuff that we need to function? Again, not a nutritionist, don't profess to be, but we kind of know logically what's good for us and what isn't. And not eating enough as well. So I share very openly that there are times when I hyper focus and I forget to eat, and I'm much more anxious then. I'm much more miserable then. And the last one, again, I think we know this logically, but it's very easy to get stuck in this cycle, is being around negative people, being around people that spend their time. For those that are sitting in a little bit later, we might hear some noise in a minute because I'm getting some work done. I will just try to mute it if it gets too loud. Someone on Facebook, I can't see who it is, is saying reduce dairy out of your diet. It will be the best thing that you ever did. Yeah, I don't think I have a, well, actually that's not true at all. I eat loads of cheese. That I was about to say I don't have much dairy because I don't like milk, but that's a BS lie, to be honest, because I have loads of cheese. Yeah, I've heard this said before, and I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm gonna back away from this conversation because I don't know enough about it to really advise you guys, but you can do your own research, absolutely, and find what works for you. And I have heard certain things about dairy for sure. So being around negative people, we know this anecdotally, but it really has an impact. And I was reading a study for recently, which we hear the saying, don't we? What is the saying? It's a Brian Tracy saying, and it's about that you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around the most. The 5 people that you are around the most impact your mood and how you think the most, which is probably true. But actually, what I was reading, they did a study on it, and I haven't got the details to hand, but what they were saying is it's far worse than that. We are not just the sum of the 5 people, we are the sum of the people that they know. And it's quite a far-reaching circle that we are impacted by in our mood, our thought process, our anxiety, all of those things. It's actually really, really quite far-reaching. And so we have to be super careful who we spend time with. I know that I think we spoke about this on one of the other days. I know there are people that we love and care about that are more negative. And I am certainly not one of those coaches who's going to be like, just eradicate these people from your lives. You don't need this in your life. No, I'm not going to say that, okay? Because this could be your mom or your partner or a loved one who you care deeply about and you get a lot of joy out of, but equally, they're just not they're quite a pessimistic person and they don't have that same drive that you have. That is sometimes the case. And simply put, we have to learn to protect our own space. We have to learn to turn down the noise. I think, did I mention this yesterday? I can't remember. I think I did talk about it on a workshop yesterday. I remember hearing a lady speak a few years back, and she talked about visualizing a volume button and just turning them down a little bit. Being there with the person, being there to support, being there to show up for them, but understanding that, and I say this a lot, not my circus, not my monkeys. You don't have to be in that with them. If they bring the drama, if they're negative about the things that you're doing, you can just think, that's interesting, but it isn't my journey and it's okay. And you can just visualize. If you're a visual person, I'm very visual, so this might not work for everybody. Maybe you need to think of something, or I don't know, maybe you need to have another technique for this, but I like to visualize the volume going down and just not allowing it into my space. But be very protective and try to find people. And you're already in the right place. If you're in my community, you're in a space with people who are growth mindset people who want to better themselves, people who want to be the best version of themselves, should I say, people who think about this stuff, they're introspective. You're around people who have a more positive mindset. And so if you find that your closest, nearest and dearest are just a bit more negative and pessimistic, find those sources from elsewhere that will light you up and energize you and remind you that the whole world doesn't see the world in that way. And Mary's saying this is so true, especially for our children growing up, which is why family time is always important, even with our teens. It's so true, Mary. And Emily's saying, I find avoiding negative people difficult because when you put up boundaries, people think you're being rude or you have a problem. We will talk about boundaries in the You've Got This Academy. So I think this will be really powerful for you, Emily, because boundaries are key to our happiness. And yes, initially there will be a kickback from those that are those people. However, the longer term fix is that you will feel better and they will just learn that Emily doesn't put up with this. Emily doesn't want to be around it. And, you know, people know that of me. And I'm sure that there are some people that will think, God, she's so like spit dismissive. If I say, and my children do the same. So we were around my mum and dad recently, and they want to stick the news on in the morning. And my kids will say, don't put the news on in the morning. That's a really negative way to start your day. And they're like, we want to listen to the news. It's ignorant. And I'm like, well, it's not ignorant at all. You can get sources of news. But I'm just saying, early morning, in the morning, you want to feel anxious, stick on the news. You want to feel bad. And I will get up and leave the room because I don't want to sit there and allow that into my space. Initially, I'm sure that would sound rude, but you know what? They just accept it now. Reading the comments, Kaylee says, I had to shut out my mum's noise, sadly, during the last 12 months because she's been so negative towards how we are protecting our little bubble. I think in the last year, it's been really challenging for people because there's such polarizing views on things. And I fully understand that. And I think either side of the spectrum, those that have completely flouted any rules, those that have really, really stuck rigidly to the rules, I think we have to all let go of the judgment of that. And I think it has been important in some respects to just step back from people. It doesn't mean we don't love them. It doesn't mean we don't care, but it's about protecting our space. And when it comes to our levels of anxiety, that's a hugely important thing. We have to learn to protect our bubble, you know, and I don't mean it in the COVID sense, but I mean our bubble, our space. We have to learn to protect that in order to protect our own minds. So alongside the things that impact our levels of anxiety, there are certain things that will help our levels of anxiety, and these things are equally proven to do so. The first thing being getting out in nature. There is something so powerful about being in nature. It's real. You can't question it. There's no filter in it. It is what it is. It's raw and real, and you can touch it and feel it and smell it. And there is something really powerful in terms of our mental health when it comes to being outside, being on the beach, being in the forest, wherever you have access to, just getting outdoors and breathing in some fresh air, moving our body. Again, I'm not a PT. I'm certainly not amazing at always keeping on top of exercise myself, but moving your body is imperative to actually creating some good vibes and some serotonin and some dopamine in your body. All of this good stuff that helps us and makes us feel good. We get that from moving our bodies. I appreciate that not everybody is able to do anything major physical. Some of you will have health things that stop that, but many of us just don't do it enough of it and then feel bad because of it. So finding something that's fun. I mean, I often find I'm spits and sparks when it comes to exercise, and I find that I need to have a reason to go somewhere. So I run a lot, but just for to get somewhere, not because I'm going out on a run. I will think, I've got to get to the school. I'll just run there. That to me seems like there's a point. Is there somewhere I need to be? One of my friends recently met me somewhere so that I could run to them to meet them and then walk back with them, so that it could be a reason to go somewhere. I just find that really weird with exercise. You might find that you just want to stick on some music and have a dance around the front room. It might be that, and at least it's moving your body. I sometimes find, and maybe you guys are the same, that we put this huge pressure on ourselves to, if we haven't done any exercise for a while or moved our bodies, we think, well, I need to do this big program, or I need to start when I'm going to do the perfect version of exercise, when I'm going to do the 10-mile run. And it's nonsense. And I noticed I was doing this myself, that I was thinking, well, I've got to do it when the kids go back to school, because then I need to go on a run. I need to do some proper exercise. I need to take some time out. And I was making this big deal of it. And then I thought, do you know what? Just do 10 minutes where you do some sit-ups and some press-ups and you run on the spot for a bit. Like 10 minutes is better than what you're doing now, which is absolutely goal. Like, just do something. So don't put huge amounts of pressure on yourself. Just get outside, get some fresh air, move your body, go on a walk. And see Imogen saying she loves walking in nature. So can't me too. I really do. And it's very easy not to. And I was reading a study that said that in terms of nature, we need at least 2 hours per week outside to actually feel a benefit of nature impacting our mental health. 2 hours. That doesn't seem a lot, but actually, how easy would it be in lockdown life and how we've become really sedentary to not be outdoors for 2 hours? Wouldn't it? It'd actually be really terrifyingly easy. So 2 hours is your minimum. They didn't see they couldn't notice a difference in nature helping if it was less than that. After 2 hours, they could see a marked difference in how it helped our mental health. So even if we just do a few getting outside a day, go for a little walk. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous or a big, massive deal. Just go for a walk. And if you get bored like me, like I sometimes do find it hard to just focus on doing nothing. So me and the girls will often do, like, we've got a spot thing. So we'll do essentially like a scavenger hunt or something like that. But even as an adult, you could do that. We do a game where we do the alphabet, and you have to spot something that begins with that letter as you go around. So even as adults, we could do that. You don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to have your clipboard unless you want to, unless you're like me, you like nerdy stuff like that. But you might just want to walk around and think, right, I'm going to spot something that begins with an A. Or you can play our game, which is spot something new. So if you're just going for a walk around your local neighborhood, it's dead easy, again, to skip all of the stuff that's around you because we're used to it. It's familiar. What about if you just go out and play a game where you know, it's just called, we just say notice things, and you just start going, ooh, they've had their fence painted. Ooh, that's different. Ooh, they've got a new car. Ooh, what they got in the wind. Like, you just notice things, and it just brings you into this present moment. It's a very mindful practice. So get outside, move your body, find a way to get a bit of a sweat on if you can physically. I get that not everybody can. What else do we need to be doing? Sleeping well. I appreciate, again, that for some of us, there are challenges when it comes to sleeping, but try to make it a priority. We can't skip it. We think we get away with this stuff for a while, and then one day we don't. And then we have a panic attack, and then we feel rubbish. And then we get a cold sore, which is still healing on my mouth. Then we get the physical manifestations of us not looking after ourselves. So making your sleep a priority. Drinking water and eating well, we've said that. The opposite of what we've just said is true. Drink your water, try and get some good food in. You don't have to get it perfect every time. It's always about balance. But if we can just try to find ways to remind ourselves, again, I've said this every day now, I've got notes everywhere that say things I should be doing to remind myself. I don't always listen to it, of course, because I'm a human and want to break the rules, even if they're my own. But at least it's an indication, and I'm likely to do better if I see every time I go to the tap a note that says drink some water. I might think, okay. Or some of you will fill up a bottle of water at the beginning of the day. Or I sometimes will line up some glasses, which I don't know why I do that. I could just do one big bottle, but I feel like it feels better if I just neck a glass of water as I go. Probably a bit of a waste of glasses, but it's something that reminds me to do it. Hanging around with the fun, positive humans. So being around the opposite of what we've just said, get around people that light you up and energize you. And if you don't have those people in your life, Jenna's buying a whiteboard and sticky notes tomorrow. Wilkinson's and B&M have got whiteboards in that are dead cheap. So just saying, I'm the whiteboard person. Don't get them on Amazon. They're quite expensive, I think, on Amazon. But there's loads of cheapy ones in Wilco's and in B&M. And yeah, and Katie's just saying, family, we renewed our National Trust membership recently. That's really helped. Yeah, brilliant. Kaylee needs to go to B&M. My kids, it's their favorite shop. So they like to go there because they can get loads of crap for like dead cheap, can't they? So then we say, humans, be part of this community. Do connect with each other. You've all been part of this journey over the last 3 days. Some of you already knew each other from the Facebook group, or perhaps people on YouTube want to come and join the Facebook group and be more part of this community. But connect with each other. You know, this is a lovely group. Everybody that is in this group is really generous and open. So connect with each other. Just say, you know what, I'm on my journey. Like, I want to be, I want to be on this journey, and I want to move my self-development forward. I want to feel good. Let's partner up. Let's be accountability buddies. Let's help each other. And you can share what your sticking points are, whether it's exercise or whether it's not getting enough sleep or whatever. And you can help each other a little bit. But do connect, because the community is what will pull you through. Anytime people are trying to better themselves in any way, community is a huge part of it. In fact, some of you may be part of an AA, or that's really hard to say in my accent, AA, the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, or any of those kind of Narcotics Anonymous and things like that. The 12 steps, on the 12 steps, one of them, and I'm not sure exactly how it's phrased, but community and being part of a group is a really important step to us moving forward. So I'm not here talking necessarily about addiction, of course, but I'm using that as an example of how powerful community is in terms of our personal growth. The community in the You Got This Academy, which I open the doors again to on Monday next week. Well, it's open now, but it starts on Monday next week. In the You Got This Academy, some of the guys are doing it again who did it last time. The reason for this is that the accountability is what will help us to keep moving forward. It's very easy to do a course, to do something like this, and then to just let it go, because you might not have people around you that will hold you accountable to the things that you're learning. So in the You Got This Academy, that's the great, powerful thing about it, that we learn about each other and we can hold each other accountable to the things that we know those in the group want to do. Links below for this if you want to get involved in this. The links to that, the Self-Development Academy will be on there, and it's 6 weeks that we'll be doing together. So turning the noise down of social media is a big one. The noise of social media can really create an anxiety in many of you, many of us, because there are certainly things that I see and I think if I'm not careful, it would really, in fact, this morning I shared something on my Instagram about a black guy in America who was killed. Now, it's an important thing to talk about, which is why I shared it. However, I've cried this morning over that because it was so devastatingly sad. So if you're not in a good space, if you are not in a good space right now, and you are feeling when you can feel the heightened anxiety levels coming, you can feel it wherever you feel it. We talked about this at the beginning, wherever it manifests for you. You know, some of us feel like we're choking, some of us feel it in our gut, or our fuzzy heads was mentioned. When you feel those, when you get that warning shot, I'm feeling anxious, do you need to be on social media where you might slip into comparison, or see something sad, or see somebody talking about something that you completely disagree with? Certainly in these polarizing times of COVID, it'd be easy to see that, wouldn't it? That's not going to make you feel good. So make sure you are protecting yourself. Emily says, yeah, social media can be negative at times as you can compare yourself to others. Yeah, and it's so true. So many people do. So many of us get slip into that kind of behavior. It's easy to, because it's constantly on there in front of us, isn't it? What else was I going to say? So becoming relentless in the pursuit of you feeling great. That's the key. You have to take back the power. You have to recognize that within you, you have the ability to take charge, whether that's boundaries, whether that's the things that you need to do in your own personal space. So what is it that you need? You, not you as a group, as a collective. Jenna, Kaylee, Emily, who else have we got on? Hannah's on, I know. I'm going to just scroll up. Imogen's on. Who else? Mary's on. I don't know if I'm going to miss everybody. Some people I can't see are on. And I can't see it. Anna might still be on. I don't know who's still on. But anyway, you guys, you personally, what is it that you need today to help you to feel that little bit better? Starting to recognize that about yourself. And again, whooping on that detective hat, which is not a thing that I've mentioned for the last 3 days. When we start being the detective of our own minds and what we need and what we want, that's when we take charge of ourselves, so that we know, do you know, I'm feeling anxious. I know when I'm feeling anxious, I should not be watching some of the TV shows that I like watching. I like watching crime, miserable stuff that many of you probably do as well. If I'm feeling anxious, I don't need to see that. I don't. It will make me feel worse because our brains do not know the difference between the real and the imagined. Now, that's actually a very important thing we're going to talk about now. So when we talked the first day, we talked about the experience in our body between excitement and anxiety is the same experience that goes on. We might have a racing heart. We might have butterflies. We would call them if it was excitement, but it might be just knots in our stomach. We might call it if it was anxiety. The physical feeling can be the same, okay? The physical feeling can be the same. So the difference is what's going on in here, okay? Now, this is where our powerful imagination can really help. So I'm going to give you something to think about for when the panic comes, when the anxiety rears its ugly head. You feel the anxiety, and it doesn't matter when it is. It could be first. Some of you might get it when you wake up. You might feel instantly anxious. I want you to get up. You're going to move your position wherever you are. Just going to move. If I felt anxious now, it would mean that I got up. You just need to move from where you are. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. We're trying to break the pattern a little bit. You're going to move. And then you're going to use that powerful imagination to train your brain to believe that the reason that you're getting these feelings in your body is that it's excitement. So I want you to think about a time now when you would feel genuine excitement about something. Maybe it is that you love going on holiday, and the feeling of you get before you go on holiday would make you feel really excited. Okay, so I want you to think about that now. Sorry, my daughter's just coming in now. Are you okay? Do you want to say hello quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, Brooke's going to come say hello to you. Do you want to hear this? This is Brooke's new outfit. Isn't it lovely? She got it herself yesterday. We went.
What are you on?
This is StreamYard, so
Why's my hair backwards?
You're flipped round. Is that confusing? We are flipped round on this one.
My hair's backwards.
Yeah. So we're talking about anxiety. Do you want to hear this idea around anxiety? I was in the middle of talking and you just wandered in. So
good morning, Brooke.
People are saying good morning.
Hello.
You look great. Somebody just said we can't see. If it says Facebook users, it's because we can't quite see. So we're also on YouTube as well.
Emily.
Sorry, guys. Brooke pressed something. We can see Rom on YouTube. Missed day 2, but so happy I've managed to catch you today. Amazing. Bye. Please feel free to rewatch it. Our day 2 is still there. And you can still get involved in the challenge until Saturday, the 17th of April, 2021. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Brooke's going to go away now because she's just pressing things and Imogen's just laughing. And Hannah says good morning, and she loves your hair. She's trying to badger me for pancakes. Go away. You're not getting pancakes right now. So what I would like us to do is to use our imaginations when it comes to anxiety. So because our brain doesn't know the difference between the real and imagined, we can use our feelings of anxiety and create the feeling of excitement. So I want you to think of a time when you would feel genuinely excited. Perhaps it's when you go to see family and you get that lovely excited feeling, and you really want to see them. Perhaps it's that when you go on holiday, as I mentioned before, and you feel that, I love it. Not everybody does, but that feeling of, you're going to get on a plane. For some of you, that's anxiety riddle, but for me, it's an excited feeling of going, getting my bag packed and all of that kind of feeling. So what is your genuine excited feel? When would you feel genuine? You can put this in the comment section as well if that helps. But just think about it, a time when you would feel genuinely excited. And I want you to create an image in your mind that is a really powerful image. I want you to be able to see it, imagine where you are, see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. Really in your mind, crank up the color in it, really brighten it, make it sparkly, really create this powerful image of excitement, imagining what that feels like. Perhaps you're even starting to feel what the butterflies in your stomach, the racing heart, because you feel that excitement. I want you to get it to a point where that imagined situation of excitement is really, really real and you can see it clearly, okay? Now what we want to do is when we feel that level of, Emily says, going solo traveling makes me happy. I love that. That's so brave to go solo traveling as well. So when you feel the panic, you're going to move. Then you're going to take a calm breath. And you're going to take your mind to this imagined space of excitement. And what you're doing as you imagine this and you play it out, maybe you run it like a video in your mind and you play out what would happen in that excited moment. What you're doing is you're telling your brain that it doesn't need to worry, that these feelings in your physical self, they're just excitement. They're just excitement. And by doing that, you allow your brain to move away from that panic feeling. Because when the anxiety hits and we feel this feeling in our body, our brain thinks we need to panic, sound the alarm, something's going on in Kaylee or Hannah or Emily, something's going on, sound the alarms, create more panic. And then we feel panicked about the panic. And then sometimes a panic attack happens. So what we want to do is reassure our brain, no. It's not anxiety, this is excitement. And you're going to imagine that scenario in your mind. And you're going to shift your focus from anxiety to excitement. And you're going to tell yourself, I'm excited. I feel excited. We can affirm that to our brains. You might also, alongside this, want to practice some calm breathing. When we're doing calm breathing, it's almost impossible to also feel stress at the same time. Just take a nice breath now. Sometimes when I'm talking this fast, because sometimes I forget to breathe, and then it's nice to just take a little breath there to be able to just sit in this moment. There is a couple of breathing techniques that you might want to try. There's 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and then slowly breathe out for 8. 4-7-8. You don't have to do this for any length of time. And if at any point you feel any discomfort, just go back to normal breathing. It's fine. Just take your normal calm breathing. Some people like to do square breathing. Sometimes I will draw a square on my daughter's hand, and it's breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. And you just do that, calmly breathing, okay? Calmly breathing. You might even want to stick a little, so I'm going to forget why I had this in my hand later on. Or someone's going to think, that's a bit weird. Is she in a cult? Kaylee says, this group is going to be my lifeline when I head into hospital, whenever that is. It will, and we'll have your back. And that's the importance of a group dynamic, that you will have your support network when you need it most. And we will Kaylee will keep us updated with her hospital stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, try this calm breathing. So the steps there, when you feel the panic, move your position. Use your brilliant imagination to go back to that excited place and tell your brain, I'm excited. This is excitement. I'm excited. And train your brain to shift the focus. And then focus on some calm breathing. 4-4-4, 4-4-4-4. Or 4-7-8 breathing. Or if none of that works, you just sit and do some slow, calm breathing. Bring yourself in the present moment. Place your feet on the ground. Be aware of the feeling of that grounding of your feet. And bring yourself into this moment. You are not anxiety. Do not identify as this. This is just a moment in time. You will walk through it like you do everything else. Keep yourself moving to the next good thing. What can you do today to investigate how you're feeling? What can you do for your steps? What can you do for your steps? What can you do? What steps can you take for yourself today? What can you do? How can you take action? Because I know that some of you are sat there and you've been watching me for a while, or you've been in this group, or you've been reading books about self-development, and you want to take some next steps for yourself. Consider what that looks like for you today. I don't know what that looks like, but you have to do that for yourself. Emily says, I was worried that it would take me years and years to save for a house, and I felt like this for weeks. I've done some research yesterday, and it is definitely possible and can be quicker than I thought. Anxiety is such a waste of energy. I think we should just finish up before I tell you your challenge on that. And anxiety is such a waste of our energy. It really is. And we worry about the things that are likely never to happen most of the time. Oh, one little thing I like to do, and I've shared with some of you before, you've heard me say this, it's a Gabriella Bernstein, and it's technique. It's an anchor, what we call an anchor in NLP. It's almost like a reminder to ourselves to do the thing. So this one, we do this. Peace begins with me. You just tap your fingers. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. That is my favorite anchor because it reminds me when I can feel myself feeling anxious or stressy, whatever, and I'm slipping into feelings of, a negative spiral, I remind myself, I've got this. Peace begins with me deciding to take actions for myself that create peace. It's the responsibility that I have to myself to take action today to do something that will help my mental health, that will do something for myself. I do too, Jenna. It's my favorite. I like simple things, as you probably know already. I like things to be easy that we can integrate into our everyday. That's why I believe self-development doesn't have to be fancy, okay? But it's a nice one. And you don't have to necessarily, I wouldn't say peace begins with me out loud now. I might have at the beginning, but now, even if I'm in a space where I'm around other people, I can just gently do that by my side. No one will even know I'm doing it, but it's my reminder and my anchor to remind myself that I've got this. Kaylee says, I need to use some of these tools for my eldest because she's super anxious about mummy being away for 2 weeks in hospital. Of course, absolutely. Give her the magic. It's magic. Some people like to have a physical thing, like people have like stones or crystals. I don't believe personally anything comes from the crystals, although some people absolutely do. Some of you guys might, that's fine. But I do love a crystal. I have a rose quartz crystals in the house, and I like them because I use them in a similar way as an anchor to remind myself, I've got this. Like, I've got this. And so they're my little reminder to lead with joy. Mary says, yesterday was a bit crappy day initially, not necessarily anxiety-wise. So I wrote my usual list and then thought, you know what? I can visualize really well. So why don't I do that today? So I did. Visualizing is really powerful as it makes us remember we are in control of what we do. I love that, Mary. I love that so much. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, guys. Oh, God. Hay fever's coming, I think. And Imogen says, I like that. I'm going to try Peace Begins With Me. And Hannah says, I say, you've got this, Hannah, and touch fingers. Find it so. I say, you've got this, Hannah, and I touch fingers. Find it so calming. I love that. Having your own, you can create your own version of it. It doesn't have to be the Peace Begins With Me. It can be anything that works for you. Find your little grounding thing that just reminds you that you do got this. Even when you don't think you got this, okay? And so our challenge today, for those of you that want to get involved, I think it's an easy one today, really, considering the other challenges that we had, is to take a picture of you in nature. I want you to try and get outside or exercising, moving your body, or some self-care that you did today. So maybe you want to get creative. Maybe you want to go for a walk. Maybe you want to do some singing or some dancing, or maybe you want to do some hardcore exercise or some writing, whatever self-care looks like to you. It would be lovely to see some of you outside. Here where I am, it's nice and sunny. So I hope that it is where you guys are and you get to be outside a little bit today. But I want you just to take a challenge, take a picture of you doing something. You could, if you really don't want to be in the picture, just take a picture of something beautiful that you see in nature, or, your weights or your yoga mat out to do your exercise. Do something where you take a picture that signifies the self-care, and let us know what the self-care is that you've done today, something that you've done to take yourself further away from anxiety and closer to feeling amazing, okay? And then just hashtag screw anxiety, tag me in it, and that is it. You will have completed the 3 days. If you have missed a day or you have missed one of the challenges, remember you've got time up until Saturday to do your letter that we did on day 1, to do yesterday's, which was to share some things about you, to share a picture, and to share what you feel anxious about and how you're going to reframe it. You can still get involved in that, and I will be announcing the winners on Sunday. And Kaylee says, hoping to get out with my dogs. Might be a pic of me with the girls. Oh, amazing. Mary says, when my eldest was little, I gave him a special little stone and he held onto it if he was missing me. Even if it was in his pocket and out the way, he knew it was there. I did the same with Texas. I love that because kids are magic. Kids believe in the magic. Sometimes we forget that the magic still works for us. Even if it's not actually magic, it still works like magic. I love that, Mary. And Jenna says, I actually haven't been feeling too well, so still need to do the other challenges too. Take your time. You've got till Saturday. There's still a few days on it, and just just take your time. And I'm sending you loads of love, Jenna, as you start to feel better. Emily says, I got an awards evening tonight, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm getting a facial. Oh, Emily, that sounds amazing. An awards do. What's the awards for? Sounds incredible. Hannah says, used to draw a heart on my daughter's wrist. Oh my God, that's so lovely. I love that. That's really cute. I might steal that idea. Imogen says, going to enjoy a nice calming walk in nature today. We'll take a picture and post it later. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking part in the Screw Anxiety Challenge. And again, for those of you that still want to get involved, you can up until Saturday, the 17th of April, 2021. And winners will be announced on the 18th. And then on Monday, I will be, the doors are open to the You Got This Academy, my 6-week self-development program, but you guys are invited in now, and it starts on Monday. We will be doing either Monday evening, you can listen to the first session. I'll be repeating the same session on the Tuesday at 10 a.m. So you have 2 options to be able to do that. Remember that the You Got This Academy is £199 for 6 weeks of coaching with me. You can pay this in 2 parts. And for those of you that want to go that extra level, I know some of you did that last time and a couple have done it this time, you can also get the VIP option, which is $299, which means you do 6 weeks of self-development with me. And then at the end of that week, you and I will do a personal one-on-one session via Zoom where we will go over anything specific to you. And that is usually, I did put that it was 30 minutes, but when we did it last time, most people got an hour out of me because I don't know when to stop talking, and we were chatting and it was good. So if you want to work, if you've ever wanted to work with me one-on-one, it's a very, very bloody good option to be able to do so. And also get to be part of our community on the You Got This Academy. Thank you so much, guys, for all your love in the comment section there. And I look forward to seeing you. When will I see you all? Monday? See you Monday. Normal. And for those of you that are in the You Got This Academy or join over the next few days, I will see you in the Facebook group for the You Got This Academy. And I will see you on Monday for our very first session. I'm excited. I will see you all very, very soon. Speak soon. Peace out.